Okay, so we're going to try this here. And if I can do this without it shutting off, I'll give you guys a fight of my new drone. A friend of mine got it and had it sitting in a box apparently for like 2 years. Bought it in a pawn shop for $100. Okay, so you see we're ready to go here, but I'm going to switch it into manual mode, and we're going to go from there. We're also, if you notice here, we're in mode 2, manual. Let's go for a flight. I tried to film this yesterday when it was really windy out, and it handled amazing. I was actually deeply impressed by how well it did. I mean, really, it's got some speed. It's actually fairly impressive, really. So we're going to bring it back. We're going to turn it around. We're going to land it on the concrete here if we can. Alright, not a bad landing. We're going to flip it up to mode 3. You can see the difference. It really doesn't seem to affect my dual rates at all, what I would call normally my dual rates. And it doesn't seem to want to hold altitude very well, but I get the feeling it needs new blades. It sat in a box for 2 years, got banged around. It actually had some damage, which indicates to me that it took some hits because they were basically saying they'd only tried it out once and it was fine. They didn't crash it, but it had what looked like non-crash damage, is the best way I could describe it. It was actually damage to an odd spot, so... But it does well. You can see it picks up and moves out really well. It's actually, and there's almost no wind today, so it's really quite nice. Yesterday I flew in, we had a tornado out here, and I didn't fly in the tornado, but afterwards, the next morning, I decided I would try and fly. Unfortunately, when I pushed my record button, it didn't record, so I missed the whole flight. Nothing got recorded for you guys. I'm really sorry about that. But this is all before I make any of the changes that I plan to make to it. And look, I mean, it's really quite good. Now, I haven't even experimented with the stunt mode yet, but it has one, and I'm just kind of experimenting with how aggressive it really is, how quickly it can really move. Is actually fairly impressive, really. Like, I'll give it full up and full forward, and you can see what I mean. It's got speed. But it's not insane speed. It's not the kind of speed where you're scared of it, but it's the kind of speed where you could play in the wind and have a little fun with it. So we're going to go to mode 1. And you can see it's a lot slower, but it still moves out nicely. And if you really give it full throttle, it'll move out nicely. The trick is it loses a lot of power in mode 1 when you're turning, and you really have to keep feeding in throttle. But if we go to mode 3, you would think it would be better, but it really does the exact same thing. It's just faster doing it. But it does hold altitude a little bit better than it would have before, which is nice. So it looks like it's pretty good to me. I'm actually pretty happy with the whole thing. And it does do fairly well. So we're going to take it up and push the stunt button, and we're going to see what that does. Apparently the stunt button isn't doing much for me. In fact, it's doing nothing. It may not be functional, but I can hear what it does, and what it does is give me more throttle. Oh, there you go. There's a stunt. I don't know if you guys caught that on camera. I'm going to try that again. There you go. Little stunt. See if we can do it backwards. Yes, we can. It'll backflip. So with stunt mode, it actually does work. I'm going to bring it in for a landing because it looks like it's getting a little bit low on battery. Oh, hey. A little touch on the post there, but she seems to be doing very well. I can see we're still recording, so I'm going to give it another quick go. And we're going to pull the stunt. Little backflip, but see that? It just backflipped itself into the ground. Not so good. On the plus side, it does fly well, and it handles crashes very, very well. It's actually quite tough, and I'm really, really kind of excited, just because now I've got it, and it was a free to me. My friend gave it to me. He didn't even try to sell it to me or anything. No, he just gave it to me because he knows I used to fly and saw my YouTube channel and thought maybe I could use it. So I decided I'd do a little video on it for him. Now you couldn't see it, but I actually landed it successfully right here. I just landed it so close. So we're going to give it one final go. I'm going to stay off of mode 3 to save the battery. I'm going to stay out of stunt mode, and we're just going to go for a flight. And this is in mode 2, guys, when I'm just cruising around here at a fairly high speed. See that? Came real close to hitting that wire, but that's cool. I was in control. I know it probably looks like I got really close to that wire, but here, let's practice our control. Nice controlled landing, a little hop up. And away we go. So we're going to give it one more go. I'm still waiting for the battery to die. And I keep thinking that it will, but when I take it off, it's still taken off at about the same power level, which means I really haven't lost anything in the way of battery. It's still fairly quick, but I do notice it's starting to lose forward speed. So we're going to bring this back in. I like that. It turns very, very well. And once you get the hang of it, it's a really sweet little drone. I'd actually recommend it. It's called the Sky Viper. So I'm going to show the drone real quick. I'm going to show the remote real quick. I'm going to unplug the drone. I'm going to turn the remote off. And away we go. So, as you can see, she's still bone stock. So there's still a lot for me to do to this drone. For one, these are old blades that have been really beat up. What I need to do is take them off, balance them. I will show you guys how to do that in another video. But I wanted to document how it flies first. Get a couple trim flights in, get used to it, and then start filming. No, I actually filmed the first trim flight. I filmed the second trim flight, but the first one didn't show up very well. So the second one is actually what's there. Then I did a quick one where I show what I want to do to it. And this is to document how it flies before I do any of that, now that it's trimmed in. So that's finished. And I'm going to cut this one short and let you guys see a little bit more of the Sky Viper. In upcoming videos, I will show you how to make this thing rock and roll. Keith out.